Okay, we're going to have a look now at designing the basic building blocks of a racing car game. Okay, or it doesn't have to be a racing car, but we're going to use a racing car today. Now, hopefully, you will have most likely had a go at the maze game design before you've done these videos, so you should have a good basic grasp of how to use Scratch, so I'm not going to go over too much there, and we're going to get straight into it. So, first things first, now we could use this little cat as our sprite or as our race car, but I think probably it'd be better if we use an actual race car. So I'm going to just get the scissors here and delete this chappy here. Okay, so now we need to find a new sprite that's appropriate. Now we could have a look and see if we could find one in the file, but I'm going to create my own sprite. So if you go on to Paint New Sprite, okay. Now, when we make our race car game, it's going to be, well, the basic one I'm going to do is going to be as if you're looking above from a bird's eye view down at the racetrack. So we want a car that's going to be from a bird's eye view, so as if you're looking at the top of it. Okay, so I'm just going to get some straight lines. We're going to get our brush size a little bit bigger, and we're going to make a little basic car. Now you might want to spend a little bit more time on yours, okay, but I'm just going to do it quite simply just for the purpose of this video. So we're just going to make a little box shape. Doesn't have to be too accurate for now. And then I'm going to make some tyres. Let's have some cool red tyres. There's one there, one there, one there. There we go. And then I'm just going to fill in the middle. So I've just gone to the fill button here, pick my colour, I'm going to fill it in blue. So there's my car. Now it doesn't look amazing, doesn't look too much like a car, but you guys can do a little bit more detail. You might want to put windows at the front here, you might want to put a little steering wheel in, or maybe a little person. But remember, we're looking at the top of the car. Okay, so that's why it looks a little bit silly. Right, here he is. So we're going to move him over here. Right, so we've made our sprite, and we're going to call our sprite car 1. Good. So the sprite has been made. What we're going to do now is we're going to add some movement. Okay, so we want our car to move. Now, previously when you may have done the maze game or any other things you've used on Scratch, you may have moved it slightly differently. Okay, the movement for the car is slightly different. But we're going to start with the same building blocks as we did before. So when our green flag clicked, we're going to put in. Okay, we're going to put our forever loop in. So remember, this goes in to make sure that whatever we put inside this bit of code happens continuously or forever. Okay, if let's go to sensing. Key space, we don't want the key space pressed, we want key up arrow pressed. Okay, so, and then we're going to go on to motion, and we're going to move 4 steps. Okay, so that's the first stage. Okay, now I want you to have a look at the move 4 steps. Okay, when we click green, see what happens. As I click the up arrow, the car moves. Now, just see what happens if I change the amount of steps it moves. So if I change that to 8, okay, and now we run the script, he moves quite a lot quicker. Okay, so however many you put in here, how many steps move in here, will make your car move a little bit faster. So if I stop the script there and bring him back, we want our car to probably move, I'd say, around 4. You want a speed that's going to be able to be controllable when you're racing your car. Okay? Right, next, now you might want your car, or you should want your car, to be able to reverse as well, so go backwards. So we're going to put another if in. Okay? And we'll put that there. We're going to find if key down arrow pressed. We're now going to move backwards. So remember, if we want to move backwards, okay, or the opposite direction, we need to put in minus. So we're going to put a minus 2 steps in. We put -2 because generally cars, I think, probably when they're moving backwards are slower than when they move forwards. You could put it the same speed, that's up to you, but I've put it in -2. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Click the green flag. As I press forward, he still goes forward, and then as I click reverse, he goes backwards a little bit slower. Okay, so there we have it. Right, finally, we're just going to get some movement in now for our car to be able to move left and right, because at the moment all we can do is go left and right across the screen, but without any direction. Now this is where it's slightly different. So whereas before, when we moved our sprite, perhaps it moved like this, left and right, without the actual sprite moving. What we're going to do now is, as a car would move, we want him to be able to turn left or right. So we want this, the actual car, to physically turn. Okay. So we're going to go to control again. We're going to go to if, and we will get a sensing. So if right arrow, okay, pressed, we're going to go back to motion. Okay, we're going to say turn, okay, clockwise. So as we can see, this little arrow here is supposed to be spinning clockwise. The arrow is pointing clockwise, and this is the amount of degrees it's going to turn. So if you've ever used a protractor in maths, the amount of degrees that the car's facing, the amount it's going to turn. Okay, so we're going to put in 5 degrees. Okay, so we don't want it to turn too much because we can always keep pressing it to make it turn more. Okay, so let's see what that's done. So if I press the right arrow now, we can see the car is spinning around. Okay, which is great. Now if I press forward and then turn right, now my car will move forward and turn at the same time. So that's perfect, that's what we want. Okay, but at the moment I can only move right, so we need to make sure that we're adding in our last bit of motion to make sure the car can move both ways. Okay, so we'll stop the script there. Okay, we'll put in our final if for this video. Sensing if key left arrow pressed. Okay, so if we've clicked the left arrow now, we're now going to be turning anti-clockwise 5 degrees. Okay. So in a similar way, if you put more degrees in here, okay, it will turn faster. Okay, so if you put, like where we put steps in here, if you put more steps, if you put 10 steps there, it would move the car faster. When it's turning, okay, it will turn the car faster. So I've put it on a relatively small number so it doesn't turn too quickly. You might want to do it slightly differently. So let's see now. Okay, we're just going to click green. Let's see now. Yes, now my car is moving in any direction I want it, which is perfect. That's what we want. So that is the first stage of our race car game. We've got some movement in our car. We've got the direction we want it. It can move backwards and forwards. In the next video, we're going to have a look at designing the racetrack in the back.